so much for taking the time to stop by and spend some time with me. So today I'm going to talk about how to deliver negative feedback, specifically for leaders, for managers, people in a position, right, that they lead people. Now, in providing negative feedback, we know that leaders, they have to try to keep individuals on track by not losing sight of the big picture. But people are more likely to stay engaged and be productive if they feel secure and know what's required of them. Thus, these uncomfortable conversations, these difficult conversations, delivering negative feedback is necessary for effective and good leadership. And we know that most leaders, they want to avoid this conversation at all costs. But let me tell you why. So I'm going to look at my notes real quick, right? So why a lot of leaders don't like to have this conversation is because some managers are often uncomfortable, right? Discussing the performances that they feel may be deemed as weaknesses of their employees. They're uncomfortable. They don't want to tell this employee that they're not meeting the mustard, right? They're not cutting the mustard. They're not meeting the expectations. And then sometimes it's hard for some leaders because when they go and they tell these employees, we have some employees who tend to have what is known as an inflated assessment of themselves, where they feel like they're a 95, 100% employee, when they're really about 60, even sometimes 50. And who wants to tell someone that, hey, I know you thought you were a rock star, but really you're not. And that can be difficult for some leaders. And then you also have some managers, they might fear having to hire someone, right? Oh, why would they fear that? Because if that employee does not get their performance together, we may have to separate employment. Or when you have to tell someone that they're not meeting expectations, they may take it personally and be like, you know what, I'm out of here. You guys are crazy. I'm the best thing since sliced bread. And they leave. And what that means is now the manager has to hire someone else. And they don't want to have to do that. And I get it, because it takes a lot to hire an employee. But then what I want to do now is give you some tips for successful feedback sessions, because whether you like it or not, you need to have these conversations, okay? So one I would say is prevent surprises. And I will say in my career in HR, that happens a lot. There should be no surprises to this employee, because why you as the leader should have been having these conversations with them, letting them know, hey, these are some areas, or, this is some things I think you should work on. If we're doing those check-ins, they should know where they stand, right? Okay. Also, use specific and concrete examples. Don't say, well, you just didn't do this. Okay, well, what were they supposed to do? How did they not complete the task? Examples, people. I'm a visual person. I need examples. And most employees are like me. They want to know how, the who, the what, the where, the why. So provide them examples. Don't overload them with 5,692 examples, but 2 to 3. That's sufficient. They'll get it. They'll understand how they can improve. And then focus on the goal. So let them know, this is the goal that we have. This is my goal for you. This is the goal for the team. This is the goal for the company, right? Because they're usually different goals. So let them know specifically what the goals are, and make sure that those goals are attainable. Don't have them thinking they got to climb Mount Everest, and we know that's never going to happen. So make sure that the goals are attainable. And then also listen as well as talk, because when you're having this conversation, when you're giving this feedback, delivering this not so comfortable information to this employee, you want to make sure that you're allowing them to provide their input to you, because there could be some issues, right? There could be, they don't have all the equipment they need. They did not really understand the expectation. They don't really understand what is required, what they needed. They may not even understand how they got that job. But that's a whole nother conversation, right? Okay. But what I'm saying is, let that employee have the conversation. It's a conversation. You get to talk, they get to talk. Okay. And then also be honest, because that's another thing. I'm going to just vent for 2.2 seconds. A lot of times when individuals are being written up, or the manager has this negative conversation with them, a lot of times they will contact HR and be like, oh, I can't believe they said this and this and that. And that's because the manager, when they're usually talking, not all, but we have some managers who, they're just like really great, nice, sweet, loving people. And so when they're talking to their team, they're like, oh, you do this, you're so great, this and that, or, oh no, I don't have an issue. But then they'll call another leader or call someone in HR and say, this person's not meeting expectation. But you just told that employee that they were the greatest thing since sliced bread. Something here does not match. So be honest with them, because guess what? When you're honest with someone, they're able to change the behavior, and it's just the right thing to do. So be honest. And then I would also say, treat your employee with respect. Everybody has feelings, right? So when you're delivering this negative feedback, believe me, it does not feel good to be told that you thought you were up here, but you're really down here. Or you thought you were a rock star, an A student, and all of a sudden you're finding that you're below average. You're not even C. You may be below average, or you're a C student. That is hurtful. So think about their feelings as well. I know you as the leader don't want to deliver this message, but you have to, right? And again, if you're having like regular check-ins with these employees, this should not be a surprise. So it's so important that we continue to have these conversations and be open and honest. Now, equip your employees with the ability to know that they can talk to you, right? And remember that this is a conversation, right? At the end of the day, we're dealing with adults. These aren't teenage children. These aren't children or teenagers who, we're their parents. No, they come to work. We pay them a salary, an hourly wage. So therefore, these are adults, and we should treat them and give them their dignity and respect at the same time. So when we're having this conversation, we need to let them speak and communicate, but also let them know where and what it is that we expect from them moving forward, right? So that there's no shocker. And also when you're giving this constructive feedback, make sure that you are in an environment where the person feels comfortable, right? And I always remind my managers, please don't give the feedback via email. Let me stop this by saying real quickly. You can have a conversation with your employee and then follow it up with the email, but don't you dare send that email and then want to talk to them. Because you just ruined someone's day. They should not get that email and be like, what is this? What are they talking about? Because that's just not the way we handle business over here, right? Absolutely not. So we want to make sure that we reach out, we call the employee, or we have Zoom since we're still in my friend Corona days. So we want to have that conversation. We can do a Teams meeting, a Zoom, over the phone, but please don't send that email out to that person and you've never spoke to them. Don't do that. Because why? It's just not right. And we're doing things the right way. And you want to make sure that your constructive feedback is given positively. When you already know and you're having this conversation, you're as an employee, you're going to start feeling a bit down to find out that you're not meeting the expectations, or you may have thought you were doing a good job and someone's telling you you're not. So put yourself in that person's shoes. Be empathetic. Understand where that person may be coming from, so that when you're delivering that feedback, you understand that you're dealing with another human being on the other side of the table, or the other side of the phone, or the other side of your computer, okay? Now, you want to identify what the performance challenge is, then produce a plan. Your job, manager, is to come up with a plan to address the issue and how that person can improve. And then you want to make sure that feedback sessions happen regularly so that we don't find ourselves in a situation like we are in now. And then you also want to be genuine and honest, like I mentioned before, and your employees need to know that you are eager to help them improve. I think that's one of the most important points as well, because a lot of times some employees, they feel like their managers are out to get them, and that's not the case. The manager really wants to see them improve. Why? Because they don't want to go through the whole recruiting cycle again, the hiring process of finding someone, interviewing, then going through all of that. They don't want to do it. So therefore, really, it's important for you as a manager to let them know that you want them to succeed. You want to see them do well. And then I would say, again, this is a dialogue. So the conversation should be between you and the employee. You should not be doing all the talking. They shouldn't be doing all the talking, but it should be like a 50-50, 50-50, 60-40. I'm even okay with 60-40, okay? But we want to make sure that they have an understanding. And then when they walk away from that negative feedback conversation, that they understand exactly what it is that you've identified the performance concerns, you've helped them understand what they need to do to improve, how they need to go about improving it, and then that there is going to be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly check-ins to make sure that they're meeting the expectations, right? And again, just be sure when you're delivering that feedback to let them know that you're coming from a place of concern and that the goal is to really win back that employee. All right, I hope you got all those nuggets, because I was dropping some nuggets. But it is your girl, Camille, and I really appreciate you taking time to sit and chat with me for a little bit. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, what you waiting for? Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. All right, until next time, peace.